I was gonna watch the WoW update video because obviously there's a lot of new stuff for WoW, and I wanted to see what's going on with it. Ugh.
Well, I hope you're all enjoying the patch, but that does not mean that there's not news to cover. Blizzard's instant hotfixes have solved some major issues. There's been some confusion over the mount, Elite Legendary, a potential 6th dragon riding mount, and a...
Oh, another dragon riding mount. Okay. Oh, that'd be cool if they did a Netherwing Drake for dragon riding. Alright, cool.
Bunch more. And let's get stuck in. Like how you should get stuck into our game, The Pale Beyond, because we just dropped a major patch for our publisher special event, Ludonarracon.
Dude, I still haven't played this.
New difficulties, classic, normal, and hard. The game is more fair, but if you want to do the harder mode, yeah, there's good stuff there. And on top of that, if you're on the fence about things, the demo now has transferable saves to the main game. So you can try it at no cost and then continue into the full game at a 10% discount if you enjoy. So check it out, links below. And with that said, dude, where's my mount? Because there's this mount. It looks awesome. Blizzard had previously said that this beauty would be available this week, and it's not. Blizzard got it wrong because actually it's a part of Chapter 5 of the campaign, and everyone got very confused when they then finished Chapter 4 and there was nothing. But what's weird is that in Chapter 4, the dragons talk about recovering and taking some time, implying that's the intentional stop before the raid next week. But no mount. People weren't particularly happy, and ultimately, it actually seems this was a communications mix-up internally, because Kyvax took to the forums to say Chapter 4 and 5 next week, before then editing the post to call the chapters by their names.
I think this, I mean, this is what they do a lot, is they will, like, release things in tiers. That way they can hopefully get people to subscribe longer or play longer, something like that. I don't think this is really that big of a surprise. Yeah, it's whatever to me. And stop doing the time gating shit? Yeah, I think so too. It's kind of annoying, but yeah.
Inherited sin and inevitable confrontation, which are actually chapters 5 and 6, with only one being after that. Yeah, so basically, it's a miscommunication. It's an easy mistake to make with a massive team, but at either rate, the Slither Drake is next week, as are the Farak Assaults and the Researchers Under Fire event, plus, of course, Season 2. Okay, fixes. You may have noticed there's no campaign skip in your alts. May have seemed like a step backwards, and it turns out that's intentional, because actually alts have got everything unlocked anyway. You don't need to do a manual skip. Now, of course...
Oh, wow. Okay, well, that's good. I just, like... Personally, I wish they would change the way that, like, rare lockouts work in the game. Because I wouldn't ever really want to play alts other than whenever I have to. Like, I only play alts because I have to play alts to bypass certain cooldowns. It's not like I want to play an alt.
If you feel like it, you can do the campaign, because that will get you a bunch of gear. It'll get you flight stones and reputation. The point is, you don't need to. You can just go and do the Zaralek Caverns once they're unlocked in your main. Or at least that was the idea, because Blizzard made a slip-up, and that was that the Spark of Shadowflame weekly quest was still locked behind Chapter 1. Now, usually, this would have been a big pain in the ass, and it would have taken weeks for a fix. But after the initial, a bit explosive backlash, Blizzard actually fixed it immediately. So now alts can just fly straight down and pick up the quest. Now, you still...
Yeah, thank God. Like, that's all people want to be able to do. They just want to be able to play the game. I think that Blizzard, like, they're getting better at this, but, like, Blizzard needs to realize that, like, people play alts because they want to do Mythic Plus, PvP, or raiding differently. And, like, or they want to farm old raids faster for different transmog or something like that. People usually don't play alts so they can replay the storyline, or they can redo some sort of pointless grind that's just supposed to increase your playtime.
Do need to finish the actual Spark quest, which means getting 1500 rep, but that's no big deal. Pretty nice, then. And Blizzard also clarified, there was a little minor drama about there being no Spark catch-up. Turns out there is. If you skip the Spark quest for a week, or maybe start an alt later, you will have a chance from almost all content for just bonus Sparks to drop until you are caught up. So, compared to what we used...
Sparks are every 2 weeks starting tomorrow. There's a tutorial quest that grants half a Spark. First full Spark. Extra Sparks have a higher chance to drop. Okay.
This is an insane turnaround speed for fixes, and they're just basically thinking about problems and solving them whenever they show up,
crafting?
which is great. Now, while we're talking about fixes, if you were thinking that Zaralek was lacking content, it's potentially because you're not seeing it. So these are public events. Now these are good. You need to do them for your fragrant coins that get you crests. They're public events, and they only appear on your world map when your character is near to the map marker, which means that if you're just sat in Loam waiting for like some of these events to spawn in, you're just going to miss them. So basically,
why? Why? Like, it's just because, like, I don't, to make the world feel alive. I just, I thought Rare Scanner was broken. No, it wasn't broken. I was doing it this morning. I killed a few
patrolling.
rares.
This is really dumb. Blizzard should make these appear globally.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people are probably looking at the spawn rate of rares and thinking, great, I just sit in Loam for like 5 minutes and I do shag all. When
I saw a post about this. I talked to Jibu about this before the stream, and he brought it up to me. I think it's true. How many of the new zones are just fundamentally run around in a group and kill rare spawns? Because, like, I feel like a lot of the zones are like that. That's it. And the Argus formula, I mean, before Argus, I mean, you had that with a few other things. I don't know. It's just like with Mop, yeah. Timeless Isle version 23. Yeah, it's just like, yeah, outdoor LFR. I just
No, in reality, actually, there's public events going on around the zone.
Yeah.
It's just the map doesn't tell you, which is silly. Blizzard, fix that up. It would make sense. Next then, if you are wondering why a certain Dragonflight won that to...
And also, like, another reason why Timeless Isle was good is because you could re-kill the rares. Like, you could kill the same rare over and over and over. Now, like, the special item from the rare had a higher chance to drop the first time you killed it, but, like, it was only double chance or something like that. It wasn't, like, you know, 50x or something. So, yeah, and you do that now also? Can you with these now? I'm not sure. Because, like, for a while, it was like, if you kill the mob once, that's it. You can't get a reward again.
Any player such as myself will be very relevant, isn't in this expansion. It may change, right? So here's the deal. There's a data mined item, Mr. GM found it while digging around, called the Grotto Netherwing Drake. And it was tagged as a dragon riding mount, costing 999 traders tender. Now, Netherwing, I mean... the Netherwing rep, the whole thing in the Burning Crusade, right? It was.
I remember my PC was so fucking garbage that I had to doing the race against this guy. I failed it like 5 times.
Your 4,000 gold, unlocking your epic flying, grinding your Netherwing Drake, and if you saw a player earlier on in the Burning Crusade with the Netherwing Drake, you think, ah, shit, they're really cool.
Sam's
right?
PC?
So
no, before
it means
then.
a lot to people. Now, this would be awesome if we can get it. It's an aesthetic we've not seen since those early low-res days of the Burning Crusade. I think these look awesome. And if 999 traders tender sounds too expensive, don't worry, because that's usually a placeholder cost for items that end up as the finishing rewards for the journal that month. Now, there's no model to show you, but, well, here's what...
I mean, if they had an updated version of the Netherwing Drake, I think that'd be really cool. I'd love that. I mean, sure. Like, yeah, great.
Original one looks like for reference.
Uh-huh.
And now, It's time for a cock-up. Well, the L's had to happen at some point. This is weird. Okay, the trading post had a bit of a whoopsie with the changeover to May. Somebody put the wrong gear on it as the end-of-month reward the completing the bar reward in EU. And they revealed something exciting coming up. A set of Medivh-inspired gear called the Guardian of Tirisfal Ensemble. It was up for a few hours in EU before it was fixed.
Yeah, they have like gear that looks like Medivh's armor. Yeah, I think that's cool. I don't think it's a big deal. Yeah, this is just funny to me. Who cares?
Which was just enough for some people to spot it and nab it, except it wasn't actually ready. So it actually
so you just got that
looks
box.
like this. And the actual models, I think, are great. You've got the staff, which is no Atiesh, but it's a pretty damn good replacement. So, any mages or warlocks who...
The helmet looks really cool. I love the fucking helmet. The helmet is badass.
Want to kind of be a mysterious old wizard should be able to get this in coming months. Or at least... Ooh, that's what they thought, because then Blizzard put it in the store for $8.
What? Oh my god. Oh, they got us. Yep, there we go. There we go. You thought. Man.
And worse yet, it's only available till the end of May. So
you only have a month to buy it. I mean, I guess it's only it's not like it's $50, but so available in the Battle.net shop. Items from Guardian Pack will arrive in future rotation of the trading post. So you buy it early or you can earn it later. FOMO, it comes back. Yeah, I mean, I just like... It's just like, where am I gonna come up with $8 in a whole month? Yeah, I know. I just look. It is what it is. You know. I mean, you buy the game, you buy the expansions, and there's microtransactions. Oh my god! And the thing is that people buy them. Like, I guarantee you, if you went over to whatever the new city is, you would see people wearing this all over the place. So it's just. I mean, fuck. Like, there you go. There you go.
The FOMO is there. But things are weird.
Uh-huh.
It was obviously on the trading post. People are then thinking, did you just take a trading post item, yank it out? Because this set was labeled as trading post on the PTR. It literally appeared on the trading post, and then you yanked it onto the store. And the answer for that is yes and no, because the small print on the Guardian pack actually says that it will be available in the trading post no sooner than 3 months after it leaves the store. So this is...
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's really a big deal. Like, we all know this will become available on trading post. People want to buy it now. That's on them. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the way that they're doing a lot of the store mounts now. Is like you can buy the store mounts on the trading post later on. Yeah, this is... I don't... Yeah, you basically are buying it early access. I don't... I mean, you know, this is my viewpoint on cosmetics and stuff like this. Is like any cosmetic that you can obtain with real money means nothing. It doesn't matter. No one cares. So if somebody's got some like really cool cosmetic or something like that they have, and it's like, oh, I bought this from the store, it immediately is garbage.
Certainly new, and it shows that they are trying to get more revenue per player out of World of Warcraft with store items.
Who could have guessed that?
Which is something that they've actually reported as having success with in their recent earnings call.
Oh, yeah, I think that makes sense, right? Because the people that are still playing WoW are, like, super invested in the game. So it would make sense that all the people that are still playing the game are spending more money on it because they're that much more invested.
Basically, right? You either buy it now or you buy it with tendies down the line.
Yeah.
Which means that if you're one of those players who doesn't have enough tendies, is it time to swipe? Because the thing is... If you buy it now, you don't have to spend the tendies later, and then you get the thing later. I think that's something they're kind of acting on. ultimately,
Yeah.
this will probably bring in a
Yeah,
fair
because that way people are like, oh, well, if I buy it now, then I can use my tendies later and do something else instead. Yeah, exactly. It's like buying high fashion clothes. Like, to be honest, I don't really, it's always funny to see this stuff happen. It is. But, like, I just don't really give a shit that much anymore because, like, Blizzard, like, I just think that they need to just reset the game. Like retail WoW is at such a point now where like it's just like so over designed, overdeveloped, over functioning. There's so much happening. Like if they had another fucking set of store items, it's like okay, like that's okay, all right, nice. That's cute, great. Who cares?
amount of money for the people who
bloated,
want to
yeah.
get everything from the trading post and the people who want things immediately. So buy now or earn later. It is straight from the modern video game rulebook.
Yep, there you
go. Not
go.
ideal. At least it is still going to go on the trading post.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that it makes it a lot better, the fact that you can earn it in game from not spending money. Like, I do think that, like, this is probably, if you're going to have a microtransaction in a game, this is probably the most ethical way of doing it, is to make it to where it's in the game. You can buy it to get it early, but you can earn it in the game in, like, a period of time afterwards. It's really not that big of a deal.
At least it's happening in a way where people... like they
Classic
know.
WoW tokens. That's
so
what
it's
they
not
need
like
to
somebody's
add.
going to buy it and then feel rug pulled. If you are buying it now, you are overtly saying, "I could get this later, but I'm buying it now, maybe to save the tendies."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have to assume it will be a trading tender or traders post tender thing rather than a like a capstone reward for filling it up. You know, my personal suspicion here is that they are trying to move into lower cost microtransactions. I have a
Yeah, man, because it's $25 for a mount. That's a lot of fucking money. It's a recession. $25 for that's nuts. Cause like $8, that's like that's like a hamburger. You go to Wendy's, it's gonna be more than $8. But like $25, that's like you go to Applebee's for $25. That's a lot of money.
sneaky feeling that they've looked at how well Final Fantasy XIV has been able to convert. Now, FF14 does have, I mean, it is a really big, cash shop for cosmetics. And it does have many things that are higher ticket items, but it also has a lot of things that are way cheaper than WoW Store stuff.
Yeah, it does.
So I'm wondering if
that.
they feel that, like, all right, people like FF14, it has a good content cadence, and those developers have been able to get away with that.
Well, it's also the barrier to entry. So, like, the most people that spend money in a store like this, it's like you're breaking the ice for getting them to spend money on the store. Because the first time you get them to spend money on the store, after that, it's easier to get them to do it the second time. And then the time after that. Because the payment information is already saved, that barrier to entry is gone, that hurdle has been already jumped over, and now all you have to do to buy this new item is just click this button. So it makes it a lot easier. So it's like a lower cost thing to get somebody in the habit of purchasing things off of the store, and that way they'll buy something more expensive. Because like if the barrier to entry for buying something off the store is like $25, that's a lot of fucking money. But if it's like $8 or like $10 or $5, then you're going to be a lot more likely to do it.
We can do it too. I imagine that's what's happened.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this actually wasn't the only mix-up, because the
soon?
Twitch drop was also wrong for a bit. The first drop was supposed to be the Ethereal Portal Hearthstone toy, but actually they accidentally set it to being the Blazing Hippogriff. Now, this has been fixed with the Portal now live this week, and the Hippogriff showing up next week as originally intended.
Oh, are people mad about the Hippogriff too? Like, does anybody really know? Like, because obviously the Hippogriff is like kind of a big... It's a big ticket item. Yes, they are. Good. I hope they're mad. Anybody that spends money on a video game and wants to be special because of it's a fucking loser. So I think it's funny. I do. Their $500 mount is now worth nothing. That's what you get.
Okay, let's move on. There's a leaked legendary, maybe. So, Ian said, no third Evoker spec in 10.1, but he did, however, say that Evokers might have something to look forward to on Sarkareth. And now we think we know what that is because of some deep data mining and a leak that may even be from inside Blizzard. To cut a long story short, a bunch of data mining hinted that there might be a secret Evoker legendary questline that's going to lead to them crafting their own class exclusive legendary once Sarkareth is down.
That's really cool. I hope they do that. Yeah, that would actually be really cool if they did that.
Apparently going to be kind of expensive based on the reagents, and there's some remaining encrypted parts that are probably...
It's super cool that we know this even though the raid's not out yet. Isn't that cool that, like, we just know everything about the game? I remember whenever Memoron's head came out, and nobody really knew where Memoron's head came from. Like, people were killing Memoron thinking that it would drop, and, like, by process of elimination, people kind of just assumed it was from Yogg 0, but, like, nobody was, like, 99, like, 100, nobody was 100% sure until it actually dropped. I wish that we could have that happen again.
Going to be quite hard, or at least very time-consuming to obtain, so this does feel like it is in the tradition of some of your older legendaries in the game, where they're not a thing that you just... get somebody to make, as in Shadowlands. It's, I don't know, more of a Valinir or a Shadowborn or something. Or, you know, Terragosa or Fangs of the Father, I suppose.
Terragosa was incredible. I think the Cataclysm legendaries were better than any other legendaries besides probably the Warglaves and the vanilla legendaries. I think the Kata legendaries were better than Valinir, it was better than Shadowmourne, and it was better than anything after that too, like the Cloak and the Ring and shit. Like, the Kata legendaries were actually so fucking goated, and people didn't really do it because it was just for one class. It was ridiculous how fucking good those quest lines were because I did videos on, like, the whole thing, so I played it all out. It was insane, man. Like, the vanilla legendaries, like, Thunder Fury was fucking awesome, right? Thunder Fury was incredible. And I would say also, like, Sulfuras was, like, just basically a money sink. Like, who cares? But it looked cool. And then Atiesh, I thought, was the coolest fucking legend. I think Atiesh is probably the best legendary they've ever made. Because it's like, the reason why Atiesh was so good, and I wish they would go back to this, is that I would like, and this is why I liked Warglaves too, is that Warglaves were a reward for raiding. Like, if you finished everything in the game, you got Atiesh, or you got Warglaves, or at least whenever they came out before Sunwell. But, like, before then, it didn't matter. But, like, Valinir, like, the problem with, like, Valinir, this is what happened with Valinir. If anybody remembers, and it happened with Thunder Fury, too, in Classic, too, is that if you didn't have Valinir, and it happened with Dragonwrath and in Dragon Soul, too, is that if you didn't have this item, nobody would want to recruit you. And you were just in such a bad position because people that had it just had such a massive advantage over you, and it carried into, it became a requirement. And this is what happened with, like, the Cloak and Mists of Pandaria and the Ring and WoD. Is like the Ring turned from being a reward from raiding into a requirement to raid. Like, how many of you guys remember back in, like, Hellfire Citadel, and, like, this is 6.2 in WoD, where, like, if you didn't have the Ring, you just weren't getting invited to groups. Straight up. Like, if you either have this ring and you're ready to go, or you don't get invited. So, like, that's the only issue that I see with stuff like this, is if it turns into that.
Now, that data mining was then followed up by this image being spread around. It might be real. Mr. GM pointed out that it says soulbound, meaning that the player owns the item, but the player wasn't an evoker, which means it's either fake or maybe an internal leak from inside Blizzard. The item itself is a one-handed fist weapon called Nazuro, Unbound Legacy.
It better look
now,
cool.
That, of course, sounds rather similar to Nal Skull, which is where Sarkareth found the broken Oathbinder. You know, Binder, Unbound, its relationship to the Dracula Legacy.
I get it.
The fact that it's being crafted, maybe fixing it. You can see how all of this stuff lines up. It's a very high item level item, but the effect...
I will still never forgive Blizzard for not giving us Remornia as a legendary two-handed sword in Castle Nathria. They should have done it. Ooh, they should have done it.
It's not for the user. They actually end up buffing others, which then leans back to the whole augmentation third spec that we speculated about in this video, which is kind of food for thought. Who knows? Sarkareth will die next week, so maybe we're going to find out soon. Now, if you're still watching this, but you've not actually played Dragonflight, then now's not a bad time to hop in for two reasons. Number one, there's a new trial, but it's a weird one. If you're playing WoW with active game time, but you haven't bought Dragonflight, then you can play Dragonflight's level up content on any character, including an Evoker, until June 4th. But you can't level past 60, because that would mean your character is unplayable after the trial. What happens is, because obviously all the leveling content scales,
experience?
You can do all your leveling, but the experience is basically just stored. And then when you buy the expansion, you get all the experience. So that is a...
I guess that's the best way to do it. I guess. I mean, I don't know how they could do it better than that.
free trial that basically is saying, you can do, like, everything. You just can't do stuff that means you've got to be max level. But you won't feel like you're wasting time because all your efforts are banked up.
Yeah.
So I guess that's a fairly innovative way of doing this, like a promotion thing. The other thing, though, is there's a really aggressive sale, because right now the base edition of this game is 50% off in the UK. It's actually 20 quid here. It's 40% off in the US at $30. The Heroic Edition with the mount, the pet, and the boost is $42, and the Epic, which has that, Hearthstone, Mog Helm, 5 very stiff Dragon Wing back items that don't look as good as they should, and 30 days of game time is $54. Now, when you consider that the game time is $15, that actually makes it a better deal than Heroic, which really...
That's crazy. They're cutting it this much. Like, you're talking about like a minus almost 50% on everything. Look at this. Like, that's like 46%. Holy shit. Like, I mean, I'm not really surprised, but like, it should have never been like this much money. This is always a ridiculous amount of money.
It shows how badly they want people to come back and play this game.
That says something about current player base.
There's a bunch of analysis has shown between
here's what I think Blizzard should do. If they want to have people go back and play WoW again, I think they should make classic WoW free to play. Make the game completely free to play. Totally, you can make an account, you can play the game up to 60, into 60, make it totally, absolutely, 100% free to play. Because the problem is that people don't play WoW because they don't want to spend $15 to play the game. Like, they don't want to do that. They don't want to spend $15 to keep playing the game. They can even do something where, like, let's say you hit level 60 in, like, classic WoW, you unlock a month of Dragonflight or something like that first time you go to the Dragon Isles, and it's like you have a month of game time. And that way you can play the new expansion. Because the thing is, I don't think that Blizzard understands they're so far behind on, like, the train of turning free-to-play players into payers. They are so far behind on this. And, like, every other company is doing laps on them with this. Like, Final Fantasy does laps. Lost Ark is doing laps. Honkai fucking Star Rail. Like, I'm talking about miles around them. Like, it's just Blizzard doesn't understand how to get somebody into the payment process. You know, like, yeah, turning players into payers. Well, that's what you do, though, right? I mean, like, that's the idea, is that you bring somebody into the game, you create a value proposition the game provides, and then you ask people to realize that value proposition through paying for things. That's how it works. That's the business strategy. And people might not like that. You might think, oh, well, I wish video games, you just bought them and then that was it. That's nice. Whenever you get a time machine to 1995, please let me know. I'll go in it with you. But until then, this is the world that we live in. And the fact is that Blizzard does such a bad job keeping up with this. They are doing such a bad job. I don't get it, man. Yeah, it's the Walmart philosophy. Yeah, you get people in the door and then they buy shit. And it's like every single other example with this works perfectly. Like, do you ever notice, like, all of the essentials. All the essentials are at the back of the Walmart. You want to go to Walmart to check out the electronics. Electronics are always at the back of the store. You want to look for the eggs and like the other essentials are always at the back of the store. You know why? Because it gets you to walk through the fucking store. And whenever you walk through the store, there's a higher chance that you're going to see something on the way over or on the way back and buy it. Like, that's it. And it's just that how is it that they don't understand this shit? It just is so frustrating to me, man. It's so frustrating. I wish that they had, like, who's doing their market research? Who's doing this, their sales? Like, I don't get it. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Bring back people. We design it. Yes. You have to create a way to get people to spend money. And you don't get people to spend money by charging them less money. I know that sounds stupid, but I don't think that's the main way to get people to spend money. The best way to get people to spend money is to give them value. People will pay for value, so all you have to do is provide a value proposition that they find to be appealing. It's that simple. And it's just that Blizzard, like what they're doing here is they're asking for the money before providing the value. And especially this is problematic with World of Warcraft because many of the people that are buying this expansion probably used to play the game. And the fact of the matter, by the nature of them being people that used to play the game, they probably quit playing the game because they were not getting their value. So your opening sale technique is we are going to charge you less money for you to be able to tell whether you're going to get value out of our product that you have already, by the nature of you being a repeat customer, decided not to purchase in the first place. Or decided to stop purchasing in the first place because of lack of value. It's just, the psychology of it is completely wrong. Like, it's just, I'm losing my fucking mind.
Monthly active user reports, their finances, some other behaviors. This is probably needed. Blizzard have literally said that this expansion didn't sell as well as the last ones. But they did say that retention is actually up for the people who are playing it.
I think that's definitely true. Dragonflight is better than Shadowlands. And I think it's also better than BFA. It's hard to say that it was better than 8.3 BFA in terms of gameplay. Because, like, Corruption was so fun. But other than that, I mean, yeah, it's a good game. It's just that, again, I think that WoW definitely, there's a vibe check that, like, Dragonflight doesn't pass in my mind. That, like, for example, in Legion, it did pass. And it's the big, hairy, muscly man vibe check. First, you go to, there's this green, muscly fucking old dude, and it's Illidan, or not Illidan, he's next, and there's fucking Gul'dan, and then there's Illidan, who's like even bigger, he's got even more muscles, and he's even stronger, and then he says, bro, we have to fight this even bigger dude, who's red, he's got a lot of fucking muscles, he's got a beard, we've got to beat the fuck out of this dude. So then we beat the fuck out of that dude, he says, bro, now we beat him. Now we need to beat his boss. Guess what? It's a blue dude with even bigger muscles. He's even sweatier. He's even hairier. And bro, the worst thing about it is the dude that's controlling him is this dude who's so fucking big. He's bigger than a planet. He's got muscles everywhere, bro. He's so sweaty. We gotta beat his ass. And like, that was basically Legion. He's got a big sword too, yeah. And it's like you're going from one sweaty big dude to an even bigger sweaty big dude. And it was so good. And it's like, yeah, obviously, like the Jaina, talking with her mom about her feelings was cute. But like, I mean, Legion was fucking cool. Like, and that's the vibe check thing that I'm talking about. And I know that, people might not really get that. But if you go back and you open up the Warcraft 2 fucking Tides of Darkness original manual and you look at the artwork that Chris Metzen did, And it's got like fucking Anduin Lothar holding Orgrim Doomhammer's head decapitated. That's the vibe check right there. Those were the good days.
Is the best player retaining expansion of modern World of Warcraft. Now, I'd say that's down to two things. Number one, the people least likely to stay around were culled by BFA and Shadowlands.
Sure
and then
were.
number two, this is undoubtedly the best expansion they have shipped in a very, very, very long time
it is.
with the content.
But like, look at this, like, bro, what the hell is it? What the fuck is this fucking... what the fuck? Bro, like, what is this? What the hell is this? What the fuck, bro? Wait, what? Look at this shit. Where are they? What the fuck? Good God. What the fuck is this? What's this soy shit, man?
Is more aggressive. I mean, the first major patch of Legion.
Those things are cool.
Was like the Broken Shore. And I feel like 10.1 has got a hell of a lot more than the Broken Shore. So pretty good time.
All right.
Now, there's also a sale on boosts, transfers, and the now a lot more useful faction and race changes, which are about 30% off. And remember, cross-faction guilds are now a thing, so Blizzard clearly want to sweeten that deal.
Oh, good.
These run until May 15th, though, so if you want in, well...
You can... Is this good boy points? What's GBP? England currency? Okay. Okay, yeah. Great Britain pounds. Okay, not good boy points. Never mind.
That's the time you've got to deal with. And it also means that if you play the trial now, you will feel a bit of pressure to upgrade during the sale, because the sale ends before the trial does. Okay, and that's it for the main news. Obviously, keep an eye on the channel next week, because things are going to be crazy. I'm working on my big, sweaty, degenerate guide, because...
All right. That's what I'm talking about.
That's just kind of what I want to do for Gearing in Season 2. We will be hitting that lore very hot on Tuesday night, probably with a video on Wednesday. That'll be quite exciting. And if you want something else to play, during the weekend, because you've probably finished the content before Season 2 starts, check out The Pale Beyond. You can literally play it for free, transfer your save file from the demo over to the main game. It's all with our refactored difficulty, which we think is, it still is hard, but it is more balanced and more fair with an optional hard mode. Then, go do that shit. The Pale Beyond, I'm
definitely going to play this game on the hard mode and get so mad about it.
It's a really damn good game. People have been really enjoying it. Now is pretty much...
Let me see what the reviews for it on Steam are. I'm assuming it's on Steam, right? Yeah, there it is. Very positive and very positive. It's right there on the app.
The best time to do it. And of course, if you want to check out some of the other things we're doing, you can check out our Patreon, where we have got behind-the-scenes content. We've got a new episode of Lore Walking, our podcast on Neltharion. It's just over an hour of diving real deep into that character, and just a bunch of other content there. So, we're very busy. We're very busy, and I'm probably going to get my Paladin up in Zaralak. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do this weekend. All right, have a great time, everybody, and I'll see you next time.
There it is. Yeah. Definitely one of the games of all time with Dragonflight. Yeah. We'll see. Classic is greater than Garbo Lands. Garbo Lands. That's a good one, man. Oh, God. It is what it is. Yeah, I guess so. Oh, man. What would you prefer? Buy game and sub, or buy game plus cosmetic store? Personally, I would prefer to just be able to buy a video game and then pay a monthly sub to the game, and then have everything obtainable in the game as paid for through the monthly sub. That's what I would like. That is a perfect world to me, okay? The problem is that I have disposable income, and a lot of other people don't have disposable income. And the fact is that No, everybody's fucking broke nowadays. Inflation is nuts. Brandon is killing us, and nobody can get a job. And whenever you do get a job, it's a shit job. So guess what happens? People don't have $15 that they want. $15 is a lot of money. For a lot of people, it is. Especially if you don't live in an affluent place. Like, you know, $15 in San Francisco is different than $15 in Kansas, probably, right? That's just how the economy is. And the fact is, and like, obviously it's way worse in other countries, but like some of those are price adjusted for that country, but so we're not going to get into that. But overall, if you're doing a free-to-play game, you can play this game without having to spend money. And the reality is people, especially like, look at things like Redfall. Look at things like Jedi Survivor. Why do people want to buy a game whenever the game is fucking garbage? Why do people want to take a chance on dog shit? And it's like, yeah, sure, people are willing to buy something like Elden Ring, etc. Yeah, absolutely. But for most games, no, people want to be able to play it and that's it. So it's like, yeah, you might say that you want a subscription, but I think that you don't realize how many people can't afford a subscription. Because like a lot of people, let's say they play 5 games at a time. Okay, well, you can have 5 subscriptions. If each one's, let's say, $15, what is that, $75 a month? That's nuts. Fuck no, you're not going to do that. And that's not even counting, subscriptions to like streaming services too. So it's like you're paying that, and then you're also paying $15 for Netflix. Maybe you have like Hulu or fucking HBO Go or Paramount Plus or Disney fucking Plus or something else Plus. And so you've got a Spotify. Yeah, you've got $100 going out the door every month just on fucking services. It adds up, man. So yeah, getting nickel and dime to death. Yeah, it's like you're fighting an affliction warlock, and it's like you just got a bunch of dots on you, and it's just slowly ticking you down. That's the way it feels, man. We're deep in it. Yeah, you have to pay for internet too. Yeah, and that's not even counting like your. I mean, bro. Like, I know how it is. You've got your phone bill. You've got your car payment. Like, I've never had to make a car payment. Like, the first car I had, my dad bought for me. I was incredibly lucky for that. And then after that, the next one was a piece of shit too. And then you have to pay for gas. You have to pay for electricity. You have to pay for, like, home heating if you have gas at home. You have to pay for, let's see, what else? A phone. I don't know if I said phone. Your internet. Car insurance, house insurance, property taxes, water. Like, yeah, it's like I have to pay all this shit too. Like, I get it. Yeah, your license, rent, that's it, food. Yeah, it's like, so it's like you're fighting an affliction warlock. And you're just getting dotted down. Rich man can relate. Oh, bro, it hasn't always been like this. I have a mortgage. Yeah, we paid off our house maybe like 4 years ago. But, you know, like a lot of people don't do that. And, yeah, let's see here. And I still have to pay property taxes, too, and insurance. Owning a house is a luxury nowadays. Yeah, it sure is, man. It's nuts. Anyway, the point is that's why free-to-play games are really popular, is because life has become more expensive. And it has not become slightly more expensive. It has become tremendously much more expensive. And also the conspicuousness of the fact that you're not able to afford it has only increased as well. Massive.